Woo! Okay, yet another Azure Foo event. Yeah, you've probably seen this. We have Ansar here. Thank you for being here, Ansar. This is the agenda. We don't have to talk about that one. Is there any one of you first-timers here? I think I've met, you're the only first-timer, yeah. Welcome, good to see you. We're closing in on 14,000, 1,430-ish members now. So we're growing, and you should always feel welcome. We're a bit nerdy, so this is fun for us. So hopefully it's fun for you also. Who is Azure Skåne? It's us. Please don't be afraid to connect with us on the web, LinkedIn, Twitter, whatever. And if you have anything you want to say to us, please do that. Requests, ideas, happily to take them. It can feel a little bit lonely to do this all the time, you know. Ask colleagues that steps up. But if you have any ideas, please come with them. We would love to hear them. You can skip that one. And please use our hashtags if you post anything on the web. And if you're curious on what we've been doing, you can also look up the hashtag so you can see a nice stream of events. Otherwise, everything is on YouTube. We also have Foo Café's YouTube and so on. And we can't do it without Foo Café or Capiche. Do you want to say something?
Hello, everybody. First-timers and seasoned veterans. You have been here before. Yeah, that's good. Capiche, we are a sponsor, and we have been sponsor for 11 years. We are a software company 100 meters in that direction that makes graph database technology adapted for scientific exploration. Right now, we don't have any open positions, but please follow us on LinkedIn, because occasionally we do need to have...
Good choice with Azure. Next event is 18th of June. It's going to be a little bit more developer focused, managed identities, secure your identities with Key Vault and so on. So I highly recommend it. Alex, he works at Leo Pharma as a developer. And we're always looking for people to present. I mean, I know some of you are working at places that runs, that does Azure stuff. So please step forward. This is my personal Discord. I always hang out here. I just want to say, no, you're welcome to join. Actually, I use it a lot, and we usually just go through this, but I'm gonna actually do a little bit more effort here this time. So this is how it looks like when you join this Discord. I use it daily in my day work. If I work at Microsoft, if I didn't tell you. So I get a lot of questions from customers on everything, because if you work at Microsoft, you apparently should know everything. So I don't, but my Discord does. So I use this Discord to look up everything. It's also set up to all the latest updates automatically gets pushed. There's some video feeds. We can check out the latest one. Maybe what's the latest one? So these video feeds. There's an update came out today about ephemeral OS disks, for example, from John Saville. So there's always new stuff coming in here, and if I come across anything that I feel worthy of an article that I need to read, I put it here, because otherwise I forget it. And then when I talk to my colleagues, if Ansar has a tough question, I say just 1 second, and then I go in here, and then I type, let's try this one. Maybe it is like something like that. Oh, look. So uh, this one was automatically updated here. So it's a good source. It takes a while to get used to using it, but you're welcome to try it out with me if you like. Otherwise, I just keep on using it myself. That was it. Ansar, you want to take over?
Is it okay? Okay. Hi everyone. It's a very good weather outside. It's not good fun to inside. Okay. I'm very happy to be here to have a small discussion about hybrid IT operations. Actually, why I have selected this topic, because I have seen many IT operations hurdles for the couple of years while I am working with many Danish customers. Nowadays, most of the customers are started using multi-cloud platform in order to achieve their business goals. Not only on-premise, they are ready to deploy their services into many cloud service providers and different services. And they are totally happy with the latest services and the cloud service providers providing on-demand scaling option and everything it is given. However, there is a team who is handling or who is responsible for handling this multiple cloud platform. That is IT operations team. So they are facing tremendous challenges for handling multi-cloud platform in day-to-day life. So today session we will talk about how effectively we can manage multi-cloud platform in standard way. So my name is Ansar Azeez. I am working at Microsoft as a technical specialist. Uh, little bit about my background. I have total 17 years of experience in the IT industry. I started as a .NET developer, and first around 8 years I had been working with the different programming languages. Then later on I transitioned to the cloud infrastructure, especially Azure, and also worked in AWS services also. Um, I started working in Azure around 14 years back in the initial Azure portal with the Silverlight. I got an opportunity to work in different cloud related work, like cloud foundation, migration, modernization of application into cloud, operations and governance, etc. And 2 years back, I joined Microsoft Denmark. With my current role, my responsibility to help Danish customers to migrate their workloads from on-prem or other platforms to Azure in most optimized way. And I born and brought up in India. I came to Denmark around 5 years back. That's all about me. So let's jump into the discussion. So let's rewind the clock and we can revisit our traditional IT workflow. Around 10 to 20 years back, what happens in the IT structure? The business team, whenever they get an idea to accelerate their business, they will convert that idea into a plan or project, right? So they will create a project team which has the developers, testers, and release management team. It will have different members in that project team. Then they will start developing that particular application or product, and they will connect to infrastructure team to get the hardware for deploying their application. That is the life cycle happens in the traditional IT workflow. Most of the time it happens through the waterfall model, so it takes long time to launch some product to the business. But that time it was fine because all over the world it was following the same structure. And after the post deployment, this project team will hand over their projects into IT operations team. So they are responsible for handling this infrastructure. After the deployment, the IT operations team are responsible for handling that infrastructure and software on top of it. So they need to make sure that everything is working fine 24/7 because it is directly impacting the business, because it comes to the production. So it is directly impacting the business. Some scenario like depends on the demand. If they want to scale up the hardware, due to the physical infrastructure characteristics, it was a little bit difficulty to provide on-demand scaling in the infrastructure side. So, and also the business strategy also changed nowadays. They would like to deliver the product as soon as possible in the market. So what happens in the latest IT workflow? We have enabled agile methodology and we have enabled DevOps. So what we are doing is that in the IT workflow is that whenever the business team get any idea, they would like to develop today itself. They would like to deliver or launch that product to the market today itself in order to compete with their competitors. So in order to accelerate that process, there are a lot of new things came to the picture, like automated testing, DevOps, microservices, agile methodology, everything comes to the picture. The same way the infrastructure also got changed. The cloud service providers came to the picture, and most of the customers started adopting the public cloud service providers like Azure and other cloud service providers, because it gives more on-demand scale-up servers, right, and the different type of services also. So in that case, projects team will get more flexibility to the platform. They can easily access to the platform and they can start deploying their application into the production environment as much as possible compared to the previous years. Then what happened to this IT operations team? So now today's session we are focusing to this IT operations team. Previously they were handling only the single platform with a different tool set. They are handling some different daily activities like backup, monitoring and everything. But now since we have different platform, the project team will have the skill set to develop that application. After that, project team will move to another project and the IT operation team has to handle that new skill set or new platform. So most of the customers are struggling to skill up this IT operations team or how to operate in a unified manner. So let's discuss about how can we manage, how effectively we can manage multi-platform in unified manner. Because Microsoft also find these difficulties. There are many customers are facing. So Microsoft also started delivering some tools and best practices in order to make sure that you can unify, you can manage your workloads across the platform in a unified manner. So suppose this is the IT operation manager or the person who is responsible for IT operations. So in this case, we have different platform, on-prem environment, Azure, and different cloud service providers like AWS and Google. Okay. So, yes. Yeah. So I am into Azure Squad. That's why Azure is bigger always. Yeah. And also, here we are going to discuss about how can we easily do hybrid IT operation with the power of Microsoft Azure. That's the reason here Azure is bigger. So first step, we need to identify what kind of activities he has to do or the IT operation team has to do in daily life. First thing, he has to get the inventory, right? Since we have many platform, he should be able to get the all the servers in together in a single report. That will be more good. Instead of going to one platform team and ask the reports for that platform team and get the another reports from another team or another software. Instead of that, if he get one single dashboard where we can get all the reports. That would be the right approach for the improving the IT operations.
That's what we previously called CMDB.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to get the details, this inventory from the on-prem, we can collect the data from the CMDB, but that won't be applicable for other cloud platforms. So we need to find some unified approach. Another one, monitoring. From the top level, he should be able to see what is happening in all the servers, regardless of the applications. Because monitoring is very key point in terms of IT operations. Because if we monitor properly, we can avoid lot of business impact, right? Otherwise, it will disrupt business. So, for example, if we have clear monitoring for a server which is having more than 95% of utilization, if we have monitoring, we can do the necessary activity, necessary action before that impacting the business. So monitoring is very important, and he should be able to monitor all the servers in a single control plane or single dashboard. That would be the best approach for unified IT operation. This next thing is governance. As a organizational perspective, obviously there will be lot of governance has to be applied, especially in the modern IT field. What is happening in the cloud service providers? We are, or the IT operations team or IT infrastructure team, giving more flexibility to the application team so that they can access to the cloud service providers portal directly with some access. They can deploy their services, they can configure their services. That is the right approach also. Then only we can build our application as much as possible fastly. But even though if we give access to that particular application team to deploy something, it should follow some best practices, or it should follow some governance or security standards. So it has to make sure that IT operation team can apply some policies on top of it. Then even if any application team deploys something in the physical server or in the Azure server, it should automatically follow that standards. That's what governance. The best practice is also the same, but best practices like if you have multiple application team, one application team will start deploying some services using the latest services, like for example Kubernetes. If they are using Kubernetes for that organization first time, they might find some best practices specific to their existing infrastructure architecture. So that has to follow other application also if they are using the Kubernetes in later. So those best practices can be recorded in the top level, and it has to be shared to all the application team across the platform. Security baseline. IT operations team also are responsible for patching, right? All they have to enable all security baseline in each and every servers, because if you don't do patching properly, that would be the easiest entry point to the for the hackers to the business. So if anything mistake happens, it directly impacts our business. So security baseline also should be able to see through a single control plane, and he should be able to see like how many servers has been patched properly, anything missing. Instead of going to specific team or something, he should be able to see in a single control plane. Yes.
Can just give a reflection on our project we did. Customer on the cloud journey. They had wanted to leave the service today. And we did this. Looked at all the patching because we wanted to, and we found out that from 300 servers, 30,000 unpatched knowledge. 30,000. And the first thought was patched, but there is a reason why they were. There's something in the application events that they run and all. It was a reason for everything. They had done what they needed. Their security based on statements.
Thanks for sharing. So that's why if you have a clear idea about how many servers are being patched and after the each scheduled time, how many got failed, how many are pending, if you are able to see in the top level, that would be the best approach, so that he can easily, or the responsible team can easily approach to the respective application team in priority. We can discuss with the application team why it is not happening. They can fix that issue. License management also one of the hurdles. Most of the time, IT operations team, since we are using different platform, if you are able to see single unified manner, if they can apply license, or if they are able to see the softwares which are using specific license through single unified manner, that would be the right approach. Backup and restore, that also very important. We know all the servers has to be backup in proper way. That depends on the how criticality we have the application. So most of the time, all organization will have some backup policy. So that according to that backup policy, each and every server has to be enable the backup, and we have to apply the retention policy also for that one. This is the responsibility of IT operations team. Before hand over the application to IT operations, they have to check it, and they have to confirm that it is configuring properly, and all the backup in every time, every scheduled time, it is taking the backup in proper way. Like if we get any error, it has to be reported, or it has to be highlighted somewhere. So backup and restore also should be able to do through the single control plane. Ticket management, since we have multiple cloud platform, whenever we have any issue, or normally most of the customers have some ITSM tool like a service now. So whenever we get any issue in any of the platform, we should be able to raise the ticket automatically. Then it will register the ticket in the ticket management system, and it will be assigned to the IT operations. So that is the flow. So for that, we have to enable a unified manner regardless of the platform. Even if it happens in the on-prem or cloud or any other cloud service providers, if anything happens, regardless of the platform, it has to be registered in the ticket management system, and it has to be assigned to the respective IT operations team. That is the best practices for the operations. Deployments. Since we have multiple platform, whenever we get a new requirement for deploying some application into Azure or into production, first we will have a discussion about which platform is most suitable for this specific scenario. So depends on the different scenario, we will identify which platform is suited for this particular application. The next step, how to deploy it. We should have some unique way of, or unified way of deploying the services into across the platform. Like we should have some CI/CD pipeline where we can integrate multiple platform. So that means a single team can utilize the platform, CI/CD platform, and if I need to deploy into public cloud, it will automatically, we can select that public cloud platform inside the CI/CD platform. Say it will be deployed into that one. Instead of going to scattered into different tool set, it's better to utilize a single tool for this purpose. Configuration management. Like once we deploy the servers, the applications are in the servers and it is in production. So that server has to be secure, right? So that we need to ensure that some configuration should be there always. Like a backup, it should be configured. Always it should be configured due to some other application crashes. If it happens, if anything happens, it has to revoke. That is called configuration management. So we need to find some solution for that one also across the platform. Then automation. Post deployment depends on the application or the user loads, we might need to scale down and scale up the applications, right? That also come to the IT operations job. So they need to find a proper automation method to scale up and scale down on demand services. So these all are the basic activities which IT operations are responsible for in daily life. So since we have different platform, most of the task has to be done by different tool set. For example, a customer was using on-prem, so they had IT operation, they already had all the task has been done using different tool set. Backup and restore, they might want tool set for the on-prem, monitoring different tool set for the on-prem. When it comes to the cloud, or when it comes to one more platform, it is very important to assess what is currently we have right now. For example, backup, what is currently we have, and how can we leverage this service to other platform, or should we try the new service which can be adopted multiple platform together. It's totally depends on the requirement, and it depends on the scenario belong to the customer, because the license, whether the customer already paid the license for the 5 years, or what would be the future plan and everything. But as much as possible, it is always good to utilize a single platform, or if it is possible, use a single platform or single process or single team to manage that particular actions. So out of this list of activities, most of the activities we can done through the Azure hybrid IT management tool called Azure Arc. So first step, we need to bring all this data into a single control plane, right? This is our single control plane where we are going to monitor, we are going to operate this across multiple platforms. So first we need to bring all this data into this single control plane, so we can utilize Azure Arc. So using Azure Arc, we can bring these all services into a single dashboard. Actually, we are not bringing the data, or we are not bringing the application from on-prem to Azure. Instead of, we are taking only the metadata from the on-prem to on-prem or other cloud service provider to Azure in order to do the operations. So this is Azure Arc. There will be a single control plane with Azure Arc, and we can easily manage multiple cloud platform using Azure Arc. We have two major actions we can taken care using Azure Arc. One is Azure Arc enabled infrastructure. That means whatever the servers or infrastructure servers you deployed in your on-prem, that can be managed through Azure Arc. Second thing, we can deploy Azure services, like some specific services called web app functions. Those services are not available in your platform or in your on-prem platform, right? So using this Azure Arc, it is possible to deploy those services into your on-prem environment also. But today's session, we are more concentrated focusing to this area, because we are focusing to hybrid IT operations. That means we already have a lot of servers in on-prem. We would like to manage those in through the Azure Arc plane. So if I go to a customer and if I say something about Azure Arc, most of the customers are worried about if I need to install something into Azure in my on-prem environment. Most of the time, little bit scared, right? Because now my on-prem environment are safely running, all the production environment. If I need to install some agents into the servers, whether I should take that challenge. So in that case, Microsoft provides most secure way to connect and easy way to connect your on-prem to Azure. We have 4 different ways we can connect your on-prem or other cloud service providers to Azure. First option is public endpoint. That means over the internet. Some customers, they might not have any integration between Azure and on-prem. they might deploy a lot of servers in on Azure, but they don't need any integration between on-prem. That's the reason they might not enable any strong connectivity like express route. So, and some customers very new to Azure. In that case, we can suggest a public endpoint, and if they are using proxy in their on-prem to connect internet, we can utilize proxy also. But most of the customers nowadays, if they have enough workloads in Azure, they already enabled the strong connectivity or more secure connectivity called express route. So we can utilize the express route or site-to-site VPN for this Azure Arc installation. Then next thing we can just look into, let's get into the portal and see how Azure Arc looks like. It's not showing. Yeah. Oh, then I cannot see. One second. Okay. So we can just go to the Azure Arc in Azure portal. So this is the overview of the Azure Arc. First step, we need to onboard our servers into Azure, right? So we can just click add resources. Then we have option machines, because we can onboard your Kubernetes services also. So Kubernetes clusters, if you are running in on-prem, that also we can onboard. And we can, here we are just clicking add a machine. We have different options: single server, multiple servers, and servers from the update management. So if I click this multiple servers, it will ask some details like a region, operating system, because it is depend on operating system. If you have Windows, you need to create one script and you need to run that script on all the Windows servers. If you are running in Linux machines, you need to download script for Linux, and we need to run that script for all the Linux servers. Here we have the connectivity method. As we discussed, all the methods are secure, but it's totally up to you what is the current scenario in our environment. Then accordingly we can select this one. Then it will create one script. We can just download that script, and after that we can just log into one of the on-prem servers, and we can just install run that script. So after some time it will be appear into our Azure portal as Arc. It will call as Arc enabled servers. But unfortunately I don't have any on-prem servers for doing POC. However, Microsoft provides some very beautiful POC environment. So that can be utilized for the customers also, because instead of installing the agent directly into on-prem, they can create a POC environment in the Azure itself, so that we can identify what is the benefit of using Azure Arc. So for that, first we need to log into Azure portal. Here you can see try Arc box. When you click this Arc box, we have two options: Arc box full and Arc box IT post. Ideally what it do, it install some virtual machines in Azure, and it deploy some virtual machine in Azure, and it install Azure Arc agents on top of that virtual machine. Normally it is not allowed to install, it is not possible to install Azure Arc agent to Azure virtual machines, but because it is not meant for the Azure virtual machine. But for this POC, they will install into Azure virtual machine, and it will onboard into Azure itself. So it will treat as a Arc enabled servers. So we can just select any option, because in this Arc box full, what it happens, it will deploy list of servers, variety of servers like Windows, Linux, and also it will deploy Kubernetes and data services. But if you want to try with only servers, we can select the second option. So it will deploy only two Windows servers and two Linux servers, and including one SQL. And it cost because since we are deploying some services into Azure, obviously it will cost. So this is the cost for that POC per day. Then we can just click next. Then it will create one service principal for the authentication. After that, we can just deploy. So it will take around 10 to 20 minutes to deploy all the services for the POC environment. So after that, if you come to Azure Arc, if you click the machines, you will be able to see the list of servers which are deployed through that POC. So these are called Arc-enabled servers. So we have deployed 2 Windows machine and 2 Ubuntu machine and 1 SQL machine. So we can consider it as a on-prem servers. So since it is part of Azure, now if you click on the one of the server, you can see it is belong to one subscription, it is belong to one resource group, it have tagging option. So it is a part of Azure resource right now. So your on-prem servers now belong to Azure. You can treat it as a pure Azure servers. Okay, so we can keep it into a similar special type of resource group, and we can add different types of tagging and everything. Let's go back. So this is the we discussed the Azure Arc gem box. That is the POC environment provided by Microsoft. We have two options. Full edition, it will have different servers and Kubernetes cluster and database also. In the IT POS option, we have the servers only. So I deployed only IT POS option. Then now we see the servers are belong to our Azure Arc, right? Then we are able to see the servers through Azure. That is what we did. So we just installed the Azure Arc. Till yet, the customer don't need to pay anything for it. Just installing the agent, onboarding the servers into on Azure, we don't need to pay anything for it. And also, along with this one, there are a lot of features are free, like tagging, inventory, Windows admin. Lot of few of them are chargeable, like some services like Defender for Cloud, but I will explain later. But that means we can easily try. Any customer can easily try it on without having that much effort and without paying anything extra. So this is the one of the scenario we worked most of the time. I worked with the customer for Azure Arc. Looks like the similar scenario, because most of the customers nowadays having the Azure, it might have different landing zone. Nowadays, every customer follows the cloud adoption framework and landing zone best practices and everything. So they can easily control all the landing zone from this single control plane. Even though the application team are able to log into landing zone and they can deploy their services, their own services. Whatever they deploy, it will belong to the proper governance what we applied in the top level, using policies, governance, etc. So, but in the on-prem environment, that almost it will be a black box, because they don't know what is happening here. Most of the time, few partners are handling few activities from the IT operations. So if the customers or the IT operations team if they wanted to know the list of VMs or the monitoring report or the backup and restore report, they have to come to partners and they have to get the report from the partners. So it is unclear to them. So what we did, we just installed the agents, Azure Arc agents on all of the VMs, including the different types of on-prem environment, like physical server, Hyper-V, VMware, vSphere, anywhere we can install it. Once we enable this Azure Arc enabled servers, it is coming towards the single control plane, so that the partners and customers are able to see all the details through Azure portal. So even if it is outsourcing to different partners, the customer also will be able to see what is happening in my environment in terms of operations, security, all the reports. It is more visible to the top level also. Then what is the benefit? Like, first of all, operations. As I mentioned, since it is part of Azure, we can start creating tagging for all the services. So most of the time the tagging is very helpful for the update management team. We can create tagging, production, non-production, and the business cost center. All those tags we can apply. And inventory, we can check what kind of softwares are running in that each and every servers instead of going to on-prem dashboard. And Windows Admin Center, that also a tool where we can see all the operating system related activities. When we consider IT operation team, they are mostly doing the activities related to OS, right? So they would like to connect, they need to connect, log into each and every service in order servers in order to do the some kind of OS activities that we can do through the Windows Admin portal. Okay, so let's, yeah, sorry. Okay, okay, yeah, I'm, oh, it's not showing, still it is going. Oh, why it is not showing again? I already changed. Okay. So when I select one of the Arc enabled servers here I can see the tagging. So I can create tags for that one, and another operational activities like inventory. That means in each and every server what is running inside, that we can see through this portal itself. So what kind of softwares are running in each and every servers. And there is another option called Windows Admin Center. If I connect the Windows Admin Center, it will show OS related activities or OS related information in a single dashboard. So most of the time IT operations team has to log into a particular server in order to complete their task. So here if I log into Windows Admin Center, I am able to see the certificates that is belong to that particular machine. How many certificates are going to expired and how many are already expired. All those information we can see, and devices and the files and all the folders. So we, if they wanted to manage files and folders, they don't need to log into that particular VM. They can use it from here itself. Firewall information, groups and users, process, registry, remote desktop. That means if we need to log into virtual machine, that also possible through the remote desktop. So many options are available specific to that OS using Windows Admin. This also free for the customer. They don't need to pay anything extra for this one. They just need to onboard their on-prem servers to Azure. The IT operation team will be able to use this Windows Admin for handling both on-prem and another cloud service providers. Let's, now it is showing, right? Okay. The second thing is govern. As we discussed in the earlier screen, governance is very important. He has to apply some basic policies across the platform, right? So how can we apply policies? Like Azure policy, we already know about the Azure policies. Same way, we can utilize those policies which are applicable to on-prem. We can apply those policies to all the platform. So with respect to, we can apply the policies to resource group or the subscription. So in the real scenario in on-prem, if they have multiple business cost center and different application team, we can create resource groups for each application team, and we can apply governance policies to different resource group level. So the operation team will be able to see whether it is compliant or non-compliant. So another one, Azure Auto Manage. So as I discussed earlier, once we deploy the server into Azure, the IT operation team is responsible to make sure that the server configuration is going standard way. Nobody is changing anything, or some policies should be applicable for each and every server. So Microsoft Azure Auto Manage is a tool which will help you to enable some configuration in standard way. So Microsoft itself provide some best practices how it should be for the 500 production environment. We can just add production environment into production best practices and another one into dev test best practices. Accordingly, we can enable. So we will move in, and in the top level we can see how many are compliant and non-compliant. The status conformant means the server already checked the status and it is running successfully without having any issue. So it is free to use most Azure policies. It is not free to use all Azure policies in Arc enabled service. So most of the Azure policies which are belong to the benchmark of standard governance, that is free. And also some cloud defender, if we deploy some defender, it will create some policies, that also free. And if we use automation, that if it is creating, that also free. And security benchmark, that is the normal policies. But the policy is categorized to guest configuration, only that is cost the charge. All other policies are free. Even that policy also free if you are using Stack HCI. Azure Stack HCI is nothing but it's a hardware in on-prem. That is different thing. So if you are using Azure Stack HCI, that policy is free. But if in this current context, guest configuration will be chargeable. That means we can apply the policy in the OS level. So in on-prem, we might use some group policy, but in Azure we are giving some different built-in policies, so we can utilize that policies. So using these three different types of policy, we can ensure that all the platforms having proper compliance. So we can, after that we can give more flexibility to the different application team also. They can log in and they can deploy it, because it will always follows the best practices. Then let's go to how to apply the policies and guest configurations. So this is our Arc server. If I click on the policies, here I can see the policies which is already applied and how many are compliant, how many are not compliant. And if I need to assign new policies, we can just click on assign policies, then select the basic policies. So these all are the policies are available as a inbuilt policies. Let them come. For example, audit virtual machine without a disaster recovery configured. So if I configure this policy, the first policy, what will happen? All the servers has to be enabled disaster recovery, but it won't stop, but it is just audit. The top level we can see how total 500 servers. Maybe I have 200 production servers. Out of 200 production servers, how many of them are not configured disaster recovery? So from the top level, it is very easy to understand. Okay, we have 10 are not configured. We can just inform the respective application team, is it required or not. So the top level, the governance will be applicable very, we can apply very easily. And if I select some specific policy, look, configure the time zone Windows machine. That means the policy is applicable to that particular OS, that particular server. That is categorized as guest configuration, but that is chargeable. That is the only policy which is chargeable. That means that type of category are the only one which is chargeable to the customer. Then we discussed about auto manage. So this is the auto manage. I have configured that server into auto manage. That means it is conformant. That means it already recently it checked whether the configurations are up to date. It is up to date. There is no issue. So if I have 1,000 servers in my on-prem, it will be more easy to understand how many servers are in compliance. So that is the beauty. If you have multiple cross platforms, if you have more than 2,000 servers across the platform, the IT operation team perspective, it is a best tool to understand how many servers are belong to the proper standard, how many are missing. So in order to create auto manage, this is two option Microsoft provide. One is best practice for production and another one is best practice for dev test. So if I select the best practice for production, I can select machine which are in production environment. That will more make sense for the production best practices. So in the best practices, these all are the best practices, like backup will be enabled automatically. It should be enabled backup, and the backup frequency will be that one. Monitoring, auto manage, update management, all those things will be enabled. And we can create a custom configuration also. It's right now Microsoft provides two options, like best practices for production environment and best practices for dev test environment. But according to your requirement, for example, some specific application I need a specific configuration, that also possible. So I can create one configuration file for group of application, maybe one business call center or maybe one specific highly sensitive application in my environment. So all the servers belong to that application will be added to this particular auto manage with this configuration policy. Then we can see it is in proper in compliant mode. Yes.
So before auto manage, how would IT operations have the service performance state?
We have desired state configuration.
Yeah.
That is the state configurations. Yeah. Desired state configuration. Using that desired state configuration, we can create some configuration. We can make sure that it is configured properly. Now with the guest configuration also almost do the same purpose. So almost all these things are coming through the policies. So we can utilize guest configuration for some kind of activities.
Is there anyone here running IT operations?
Yeah.
No, but you have done. Yeah. So is the problem statement familiar? Yes. Does this look like a good?
Yeah.
One option.
So one option.
So there are multiple options on the market.
Exactly.
This is our answer to the problem.
Exactly. So whatever we discussed over here, as he said, there are different tools that are available in the market. But the thing is that if we look at the unified way of operating, we need to select which one is most suitable for us. That totally depends on the current scenario, what is the license, what is the skill set. Right now we have everything. Okay. So this is Azure Auto Manage. We can configuration management. We can make sure that update management is there, etc. Then update manage. So previously there are automation account for enabling the updates, security patches, and for the on-prem environment we are using different tools also for the update management. For the recently Microsoft announced the update manager, Azure Microsoft Update Manager, which is more comprehensive tool for enabling or scheduling the patches in our all servers across the different platform. It gives all the option to create the patching schedule and how many patches has to be done, which time has to be done, what type of services or what type of servers has to be done first. Everything we can do it in proper way. So let's go to that one also. Azure Update Manager. In this Azure Update Manager, if I create schedule updates, I can create schedule, like when it has to be started and what would be the maintenance window for specific servers, and when it has to be end, that would be the schedule. And we can add the dynamic scope. That means what kind of servers has to be part of this update management. Like we can select one particular subscription, and in that subscription itself we can filter by resource group, resource type, location, OS type, and tagging. That means, yes, Michael.
So when you say subscription there, that's also the on-prem service.
Yes, because
Because they are Arc enabled.
yeah, when we bring our on-prem servers to Azure, that is part of our Azure. It will have one Azure subscription, and it will be belong to one resource group. So when I select one particular subscription which has Arc enabled servers, it will list out all the Arc enabled servers also. And obviously the security team or the operation team has to do patching in different way, like only production environment, only dev test environment first time, and specific to particular application, right? So they can filter out using tag. So each and every service they have using tag, so they can create some filter over here with the tag, only the production or only the dev test specific to this environment, specific to this platform and particular time. So they can create that one. And the beauty is that once we enable this one, there will be a report. So the IT operations team can easily see total how many out of 2000 servers across the different platform, maybe 800 are having the patching updates successfully, but 20 are not, or 200 are not, 200 are failure, and 30 are required reboot. All those status can be seen in the top level. So since the patching is very important for each service, the IT operations team perspective, getting this report also very important things, very value added. So they can utilize this Azure Update Manager for patching both Azure on-prem and other cloud service providers servers. So they can utilize single tool for that one. Okay. Then monitoring. So now we are bringing our on-prem servers to Azure. Now we need to monitor that servers. That means what kind of services are running, and any CPU utilization issue, any memory utilization issue, all those things should be able to see through this portal. Then only it is getting some value added in terms of monitoring. Using monitoring tool in Azure Monitor tool, we will be able to VM insights. That means this is the overall Azure monitor architecture. We can monitor VM and we can visualize using different tools, dashboard and workbooks. Workbooks is nothing but we can create our own query to make different types of reports, and we can. So here we are getting all the reports for the on-prem servers also. What kind of, what is the CPU utilization, what is the memory utilization for each and every service. So monitoring team, there will be normally IT operation, there will be few people are responsible for monitoring specifically. Those team can utilize this as a single dashboard, monitor across the different platform. Otherwise, they need to log into one dashboard for monitoring only the one platform and another platform dashboard for another platform. So this is a unified way of monitoring all the servers across the platform. So let's So let's go to Azure Arc. Here in the monitoring session, sorry. Yeah. Wait. Anyway, we can go to the direct monitor also. If I click the VM Insights, we can see the nice report for all the servers. That is across all the platform. So the monitoring team will be utilizing this platform, and if they find some unbehavioral usage of CPU utilization high for the couple of days for one specific application, they can easily inform the application team. For this specific server, we are seeing unbehavioral spike during this time for the couple of days, so they can look into that particular application. They might find some specific troubleshooting method, and they find some specific issues, they can get it fixed. So it will stop leading to the business impact actually. So we are proactively working, and we are stopping the business impact, business disruption, if we use the proper monitoring. So using this monitoring, and we are collecting the logs also into Azure. So we are collecting all the logs related information from the on-prem servers to Azure. So using that logs, we can create some query, and we can create alerts, and using that alerts, we can generate tickets into our organizational ticket system, like a service now. So even if it happens into open on-prem or Azure or other cloud service providers, if anything happen, any issue happen, it will automatically register some tickets into the our ticket management system. Okay. Then we discussed about monitoring, then protect. For the security perspective, that is the very important for the security operation team or security architects. He should be able to see the bird view for all the security related incidents and security related threats and everything through a single dashboard. So we can utilize Defender for Cloud and Sentinel. That is chargeable, but here if we use Azure Arc, just install the Azure Arc using tagging, inventory, Windows admin, update manager, and policies, auto manage up to it is free. Because policies we discussed only the guest configurable policy only chargeable, but all other policies are free. So customer perspective, if I am belong to that level, I will try easily to install Azure Arc, and I will be able to try at least lot of operational activities without having any extra cost and without having any extra effort, because I already have IT operation team who is managing different platforms, so that I can easily skill up and easily utilize the same skill set to use the these activities. Yes. Update management, it is free. Update manager, not, sorry, that's the right thing. For Arc, for Arc enabled service update management, it cost. Yeah, that you are right. Let me check. I noted down. Sorry, that can check over here. Inventory, it is free, subscription and manage administrator using Azure Arc. Windows Admin Center, it is free with the auto manage best practices, easily onboard on configure. Sorry, yeah. Then update manager, it has some cost. That you are right. Yes. Thanks for the noticing. So let's go to this one. Okay. Then few services are free and few services are not free. So we need to make sure that whether before enabling, we need to make sure that what is the cost for that particular service, including the policies, because policies listing out the all the listing out in a single category, single list, but some out of those, some policies are chargeable. Some when I try to connect some guest configuration, it is already pop up that it is chargeable. So it is always giving some information to the user that whenever use it is chargeable. And protect MS Defender, right? That is security tool that is chargeable, obviously. Like even if I am using in on Azure, it is chargeable. Microsoft Defender for Cloud, if I am selecting this one, what is the benefit? It is giving the bird view of the security. What exactly, how many servers are there, and what is the security recommendation, and what is the attack path analysis, security alerts. So this security alerts, like brute force attacks, something if it is going to happen or if it is suspicious alert, it will show, and it is giving some recommendation also, so across the platform. So this is the dashboard for the security team, so they can utilize this security dashboard in order to watch out their platform, and they can think about, for example, brute force attack happens or suspicious, they can reach out to the respective user. It recorded like brute force attack, what was your activity in your previous time. Likewise, that also it is possible. And the Sentinel also it is possible, that is collecting the data, that also security tool, it is collecting the data and visualize, and it is an incident management tool also. Then for that particular customer, when we talk about license management, like previously, recently, Microsoft introduced the ESU, extended security updates. That means if I have, there are servers out of extended support warranty, normally we need to buy the license for 1 year, right? But if we bring that servers into Azure through the Azure Arc enabled service, we can, these servers are eligible for the ESU through the Azure Arc. That means it is a kind of pay-as-you-go model, but it is not hourly billing, but it is monthly billing. But instead of paying for 1 year upfront, we can just utilize for monthly charge. Then that particular customer, if they have VMware vSphere, because Azure Arc it is evolving, so they are bringing lot of new features also. So up to this, what we discussed, we are just collecting the some metadata, and we are handling, or we are seeing the reports of that particular platforms. We are not able to enable the scale up. We are not able to change any configuration in the on-prem till yet, right? But if you are using VMware vSphere, we can install another agent called Resource Bridge. Then once we install that bridge along with Azure Arc, Azure Arc is for this purpose, and if we enable Resource Bridge, what will happen? We can manage the hardware through the Azure. So that means we can create a new VM, or we can resize the hardware, like we can just start, stop, disk management, few activities can be done through this Azure Arc. So it is totally depends on our requirement, and best practices for the IT operation is like that. First we need to identify what is the tool set we are currently using in on-prem, and we just need to assess that tool set. Can we leverage the same tool set, or can we replace that tool set with our native services which are provided by Microsoft? We cannot say it is applicable for all the customers, because depends on their agreement with the different tool set, whether if they already bought the license for the next 5 years, whether it is good or bad, that all those things has to be taken care by the customer side. Okay. So ideally, using Azure Arc enabled servers, we can bring all the servers into your Azure, and we can do lot of IT operational activities. Most of them are free, but some of them are chargeable. But we can effectively monitor or effectively do the operations in unified manner. That is the use of Azure Arc. So that's all from my side. Do we have any questions? Yeah. Yeah.
So once you enable the Arc,
Yeah.
so once you install and enable the Arc on the server, you then opens up possibility to run commands from the Azure control plane against on-premise servers.
Yes.
And normally you have maybe different responsibilities within the organization, focusing on cloud, on-premise, and stuff like that. What is your recommendation to segregate the responsibilities and the possibilities for people who don't have shouldn't control the on-prem servers to
Yeah.
to do that?
Yeah, exactly. So we have the role-based access control, right? So using the Windows Admin Center, we can create, we can access to that particular Arc-enabled servers, and we can write the PowerShell script through the Windows Admin Center, and we can select what kind of people has to do this one. So we will have a group of team members who is doing the IT operations, right? So normally in IT operations, we might have some team like Windows team, who is responsible for all the Windows servers across the platform. That should be the right approach, because Windows servers are same in every platform. Even if we deploy on-prem or Azure or other service providers, once we log into the virtual machine, it is same, right? So there will be a centralized Windows team. That team is responsible for writing the code and doing the PowerShell and running the PowerShell towards that particular. Log into the Azure portal, and they can utilize Windows Admin Center for managing, for running the PowerShell script and everything across the all platforms Windows. So likewise, we can define the groups within the IT operation itself, because in the IT operation itself, we have different skill set. Monitoring, maybe different skill set, Windows, Linux, backup and restore. So depends on the responsibility, we can create a different security group, Entra ID groups. We can assign respective RBAC for that particular team. Is that clear?
Yeah, I have a follow-up question on
Yeah,
that.
sure.
Because you have the people in the cloud team that maintain governance, for example. They probably are owner on the tenant management group.
Yeah.
That will have access on everything.
Yeah.
You have global admins that could get the same access level.
Yeah.
How do you prevent those people? Because they are probably not the ones working with servers.
Yeah.
So because I think that's quite a common scenario for security teams or security departments when discussing implementing this solution.
Yeah.
What risks are there implementing this, and because if you get good target groups that potentially can impact operations.
Good question, but for the admin privilege for the servers, that is not even, for example, there is a team in cloud, they are responsible for the global governance, okay? They won't be able to access the server. We don't need to give access for that team for logging to the servers as a admin, because they are not logging to the server as a admin, right? When I create Windows admin privilege, Windows admin center, even I am the owner of the subscription, but I was not able to access this Windows admin. I need to be part of Windows admin center administrator group. That means only if you are part of that Windows administrator admin group, then only you can log into that particular server. So even though, suppose I am from the IT operation team who is responsible for applying the governance, I should not be part of that Windows admin administrator group. I can control the governance in the top level, I can apply the policies and everything, but log into the one of the particular VM, log into the virtual machine, that is not my task. That has to be assigned to the Windows team. As we discussed, there will be a Windows team who is responsible for logging to the particular virtual machine and do the respective task. Is that make sense? Yeah, thank you.
Logging on to the server, but from the Azure portal, you
Yeah.
can run commands directly from the portal, running scripts without logging server. You can do that from Azure VMs as well without having access to logging.
Virtual machine. If you don't have admin privilege or if you don't have specific access to that particular VM, even from the Azure portal, you are not able to run script.
We can take it offline.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah.
So when customers oh, battery is a bit fine. Yeah. So I have a follow-up question. When customers come to you, we have a landscape of on-prem servers, right? They have, let's say, their count is like 100, okay? And they always come, they are interested to migrate a part of the landscape to Azure itself. They don't want to keep the on-prem servers because of multiple reasons. But they want that control environment also, like they want their own policies. Basically, you can apply their own policies in cloud. So does Arc help on that part also, that okay, partly my infrastructure can be moved to cloud? Just, I mean, that's in addition of the monitoring, right? Monitoring I can do, but the migration part also to a IaaS-based kind of solution. How?
The question what I understood is that the customer would like to migrate a few part of the
Yes.
on-prem to Azure. At the same time, they will need to control on-prem,
Yes.
right, with their own policy and
Yes,
everything.
yes, yes.
Yeah, if they want to control, they can obviously control through the Azure Arc itself. They can apply their own policy also. So normally it is not like, for example, in the organization, if there is an on-prem team and there is a cloud team, we are not giving the full privilege to the cloud team. Instead of that, on-prem team can access this one. That means on-prem team will be able to access the Azure portal once we enable the Arc enabled service. That means that same team will be able to control, same team will be able to apply the policies and everything, because these servers are belong to that team. So that depends on the organization how to handle. If they want to club together, okay, that is possible. But if they want to keep the separately, that also possible. At the same time, it is giving more convenient and easy way of handling. And also the existing on-prem team, they can upskill by utilizing some Azure services also. But using Azure itself, they can create their own policy, they can control on-prem themselves without impacting the Azure. That will be a separate team itself in the organization.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the battery is.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, the scenario I'm describing is like, I mean, we
Should
have
I come?
this-
Should I give this one?
that's-
Okay.
So, I mean, we have this blockade countries, right, where you cannot host the servers, like there is this
Yeah.
trade embargo.
Yeah, yeah,
on those
exactly.
countries. And Microsoft has, I mean, there are some, they have data centers across the globe. So there are this third-party countries where you can host the data and keep it there rather than bringing it to where
Cloud.
the blockade is there. So that's why they want to migrate those servers, because they have the infrastructure here in EU, right? And it's a risk. So they want to move part of the servers to those data centers where it doesn't come under blockade, just cut the risk. So that's why that question of part of the servers, how the monitoring part is good, because you're not transferring the data, it's just a monitoring.
Yeah,
So that's the reason.
that makes sense. Yeah.
Are we ready for some pizza?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you could continue to discuss.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you all.